What is up, everybody? Listen, it is draft day out here. We're ready to go. Last season, it was a fait accompli. Caleb Williams was going to be the guy. There wasn't much to discuss. Perhaps were we going to get Roma Dunze at number 9? Not a lot of stuff. But right now, at number 10, there is so much going on. And you know what? I can't wait to talk about it. So, Sammy, let's start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Ray.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Well, like I said, everybody, it is draft day, and I wanted to do something special as we're sitting here in anticipation of the Bears' number 10 overall selection. And here to talk about it is not only one of the top members of the WWE of his era, I would say one of the biggest superstars of all time. He first won the WWE title. You remember cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 31, running down the ramp and cashing it in on Roman Reigns. And then on Saturday, he did it again. Well, he didn't win the title, but still beat Roman Reigns, this time also taking out CM Punk. Please welcome to the show right now. I'm going to call him my friend, Seth freaking Rollins. What is up? So great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. It has been a good week. It has been a good few days. You know, it feels nice to be introduced as the guy that beat Roman Reigns and CM Punk. That's a good feeling. That feels real good.
Yeah, you know what? The real ones from Chicago know which side of the ledger we fall, and we support Seth freaking Rollins. Listen, I know, like, we sit there. I love football. I hate football. It is a part of my Sunday. Like, it's not complete until your tweet comes out and we know, like, how you feel about the Bears and how you feel about football. So it's great to talk some ball with you because there's a lot of cool things going on with the draft. It's such a wide open situation right now. How are you feeling right now about the draft?
So that's the thing that's fun this year as a Bears fan going into the draft. You know, you mentioned it in the cold open. We kind of knew where we were headed, at least at one last year. Obviously, kind of had the wild card with that second first round pick. But you know, this year the first round is sort of wide open. I think if you'd asked me before free agency, I would have told you it was a guaranteed to jump on the O-line, take whoever was going to be best available there for you. And that still is a possibility, but it's certainly not a necessity. I think with the moves that, you know, the team made in the offseason with the O-line interior, the D-line interior, they really opened the board. You know, it's pretty wide open for them to see, is there a trade? Is there somebody that's a skill player that they might want to add to the team? So I feel really good going into. I have like a confidence, like a brashness going into the draft this year. You know, like we can do whatever we want. You know, like that's kind of how I feel. So that's an exciting place to be as a Bears fan because we don't get that very often.
It's incredible, too, because coming into the draft season, you know, a lot of people are talking about some of the skill players who are available this evening. But everybody always gave it the caveat, like, well, in order to get a skill player, we'd have to sign 2 guards, a center, a defensive end. Like, we did all that. Right? Ryan Poles went out there and took all of that. So now I feel a lot of Bears fans turned their attention to Ashton Jeanty. So I would like to ask you, is Ashton Jeanty at the top of your board?
I mean, look, do I think he's going to make it all the way to 10? Probably not. If in some world he falls to 10, I don't see any reason why the Bears don't take him. I know you invested a little bit of money in Swift last year. I think Roschon Johnson is a running back who's like wildly underutilized. But I also think if you look at what a special running back can do for your team and for your young quarterback, you look at the Philadelphia Eagles and what they were able to do, adding Saquon Barkley to the mix last year, really taking the pressure off Jalen Hurts. Now, I think our quarterback can be better than Jalen Hurts. I think Caleb Williams has a different type of skill set, and I think he can be a guy that leads teams to playoffs and Super Bowls. Hopefully it's this team. But you add someone like Ashton Genty in there, who I think is a generational type running back. That really feels special. So my eyes are on him. Do I think he's going to make it to 10? I think he's too special. I think somebody's going to nab him up probably around, I don't know if he's a top 5 guy, but he could be. Somebody could surprise you with that. But I think somewhere between 5 and 10 he goes. I don't know that he's going to make it to Chicago at 10. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's wishful thinking. I do want to dive into something you just said right there about Caleb Williams. Obviously, some of the other quarterbacks who were rookies last season did pretty well. I am still of the belief that Caleb Williams is going to be the best quarterback of that draft. You talked about being better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be the best quarterback of the draft, and I don't think it's very long before he ends up being the best quarterback in the NFC, if not the NFL.
Yeah, so I love him as well. I mean, I think you look at the amount of chaos that the team went through from a head coaching standpoint, an offensive coordinating standpoint last year, and then you look at the numbers he was still able to put up. That says a lot. But it wasn't even so much about the numbers; it was the way he played the game, and I paid attention to his attitude. His leadership. I've had the opportunity to chat with him via DM a little bit here and there. And I think he's just a really good kid. He wants to be great. And he was put in a situation last year that was not conducive to greatness. And as someone who's been in those situations in my career, where maybe you're not given the creative that you love, that you can only get so much out of. I thought he did really, really great, making chicken salad out of chicken poop, as we say in our world. And so I really think you're going to see those sack numbers come down, and when you see those sack numbers come down, you're going to see the efficiency go up, and you're going to see those numbers, especially those yards and touchdowns, go up. When he learns how to get the ball out a little bit quicker, I mean, he's a special kid, and like I said, he wants to be great. And so I feel very good about where we're at with Caleb Williams going into year 2.
I do as well. And I think one of the big things, too, is also getting some additional help for him on the offense. We talked about Ashton Genty. Another player that I'm seeing in the mock drafts is Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. Teams love to run 2 tight end sets. Ben Johnson did it a lot in Detroit. Do you think if Tyler Warren is available, is that a good pick for the Bears?
Yeah, I do. I think it's great if you can get him. I think he's one of those tight ends. I know his flash kind of jumps off the page to you, but I think he's a gritty dude, right? Played in Big Ten. He's a baller. I really think that he can bring a lot of grit to the offensive line as well. When he's not out there catching passes, I think he can chip some of those edge rushers and be a special dude. And that's not taking anything away from Cole Kmet, because I love Cole, and I think Cole's going to be on this Bears team for a long time. But you have two guys that can ball on either side, or you stack them on. I mean, there's a lot you can do. You can line them up in the slot. You can do a lot of different stuff if you have weapons like that. I mean, you go back and you look at what the Patriots were able to do. They kind of pioneered the system with Hernandez and Gronk. And you mentioned Ben Johnson in the line. There's a lot of teams that do it, but not at the skill level, in my opinion, of what Warren and Kmet could bring. So, I mean, that would be very interesting to see. And again, Warren's one of those guys that if he falls at 10, I'd love to take him. I don't know that he'll get that far, though.
Yeah, if he doesn't, hear me out on this one, because our friend, George Kittle, little bit of an impasse with the 49ers, and maybe he's on the move. Can we ever bring George Kittle home? Do you ever talk about that when you see him? Because he always, I'm not as close with him as you are. Do you think we could ever bring George home?
I don't know. George loves playing for San Francisco. He loves being a 49er. I think if it were up to him, he would end his career there. Now, that's personal. Business is business. So we'll see what happens. The 49ers are in a really, obviously, you look at what they've done this offseason. They've had to move around some money. They're in a really interesting position from a cap space standpoint. I believe George is entering the last year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Wants an extension. So if the Bears are able to move some pieces around and trade for him, an extension is probably going to be necessary in that deal. Now, would I love George Kittle to be on the Chicago Bears? Yes, I would, for a variety of reasons. Obviously, I'm a good friend. I'd love to be able to root for him instead of against him. But from a tangible skill standpoint and an experience standpoint, a winning standpoint, he brings a leadership to that tight end room, but also to the locker room in general. And he's a lot of fun, man. He's a fun dude. But
Yeah.
dude, he's in my opinion, and I love Travis Kelce. I think Travis is special, obviously. Probably greatest tight end of all time right now. But George is probably the best tight end, in my opinion, in the league, because he does everything really well. When he can stay healthy for 17 games, there's nobody that does all the things that he does, right? There's nobody that blocks like he does. There's nobody that makes adjustments the way he does. Obviously, a pass catching threat, and he just plays so hard every down. And as someone that understands what it's like to be a workhorse in their department, I get it, man. I get it. Us Iowa boys, we ride hard. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'd love to have George in the Navy and Orange. That'd be great.
And I love it too. I'm with you. I think he's the best tight end in the league. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the fantasy football production, but it's like, you know what? George does a lot of different things. And the way he blocks and opens up the running game for the 49ers is just undervalued, which is, why it's great to have not only one great tight end, but two good tight ends. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bears are approaching this over the next, not only the next couple of days, but the next couple of months. We talked about Ben Johnson briefly. It feels rare as a Bears fan. Like, we've taken a lot of guys on there, like Mike Ditka became a superstar, but he was a special teams coach. Lovie Smith, he wasn't like the guy that was the hot, sought after commodity. The Bears went out and got Ben Johnson this offseason. What were your thoughts on that? Because it felt rare as a Bears fan to be like, oh, we got the guy that everybody wanted and we paid the most money. It was a refreshing feeling.
Yeah, it felt rare because it was rare. I mean, you can go back through all the hires. I mean, the last sexy, and I say sexy hire with a grain of salt, was probably John Fox.
I almost spit it out. Seth, I almost spit take. Come on.
But Matt Nagy, Eberflus. I had to look up I didn't even know Eberflus was a head coaching candidate when he got hired. He probably shouldn't have been. He's got to make a great D coordinator in Dallas. I don't know that a head coach is his thing. But yeah, Mark Trestman. I mean, what are we talking about here? You mentioned Lovey, who turned out to be a fantastic head coach, and we probably let him go before we needed to. But other than that, I go, Dave Wannstedt, like who are these guys we're hiring? So yeah, it felt different because it is different, and I think that's what you see when you see the leadership of this Bears team. Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, they're different. McCaskey's family is always going to run the Bears, but the leadership is different now. And I think they want to win. They want to win football games. They want people to want to come to Chicago to play football. And that's different than maybe what we've had in the past. I'm very much looking forward to see what Ben Johnson does as a head coach. Been super impressed by his interviews so far, just hearing the way he approaches the game and setting up the team and all of that stuff. So he seems like he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to lead a team as well as coach an offense, and hopefully build some great rapport with Caleb and the offensive unit right out of the gate. And we see some massive improvements because, that's the thing with, and I don't want to dog Eberflus too much because, again, I think he's a good guy. I think he's going to make a great D coordinator. You just didn't ever see any rapport, with him and, say, Justin Fields. And so even with Caleb, it just wasn't there, You need that. I think in today's NFL, you want to win football games, there's got to be some rapport with your head coach and your star quarterback. That's just the way the game is right now.
Yeah, and it's tough too. And even with Matt Nagy, I mean, like, I literally like both. I still do. I like both of those people as human beings. It's just like I don't want him to coach. I think Paul Heyman is a wonderful person. I don't know that I would want him to coach the Bears. Running the new dangerous alliance, that's fine. But running that's different. It's a different thing to do. But I do want to pivot to one thing. Speaking of wrestling, sadly, yesterday afternoon we lost Steve Mongo McMichael, a legend for the Bears. It was one of my dad's favorite players. But also, growing up, I know I'm older than you, but like Monday Night Wars, Steve Mongo McMichael was a huge part of that. What were your memories of Mongo? I absolutely love the dude.
Take the glasses off for Mongo. you know, Mongo to me so I am 38, almost 39. So, I didn't really understand, obviously the Bears won their only Super Bowl. I was in utero, like I had not been born yet. It was January 86, right? So I knew nothing of that team. So my first introduction to Mongo was when he came on board of Monday Nitro. Remember the little Chihuahua he used to
Pepe.
bring with?
Wasn't it Pepe?
I don't know that it was Pepe. It might have been Pepe. I can't remember his name, and I don't want to misname the tiny dog. But he had like this amazing energy about him. Like it was a special type energy. He was one of those guys when he walked in the room, you knew he was there. And not just because he was super loud, but because he had an aura about him. I was able to do an autograph signing one time with Mongo at an independent show in LaSalle, Illinois. This is probably at this point 15 years ago, maybe somewhere in there. And I got to sit next to him. I got to watch him like hold babies. I got to watch him. I mean, he was one of the most charming people I've ever met in my entire life. And it didn't matter if he knew you or if you were meeting him for the first time. Like he welcomed you in. He had, like I said, this energy and a charisma about him that, I mean, until he passed yesterday, still existed even in his, condition. I mean, you can't say enough about his toughness, his grit, his attitude, his zest for life. Really an incredible dude. And I was honored and privileged to be able to spend some time with him and get to meet him and all that stuff. He's a great guy.
One of the all-time greats, not only for the Bears, but I mean a Chicago legend. And the great thing too, Seth, is like you're ascending as well. Somebody who is branching out from wrestling, now getting into the world of sports. I think of Mongo McMichael, like he's doing the seventh inning stretch, and he's calling out the umpire Angel Hernandez. Stuff like that. You now have an opportunity. You're going to Green Bay. You're leaving in a couple hours to go to Green Bay. You're going to be calling one of the picks. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but was this a surprise? Because I could cut this off.
No, you're good.
Okay. I knew about it, but I'm also an insider. But
I spoiled it the other week when I was on Daniel Cormier's little interview thing at our WWE World pre-WrestleMania, and I think it's out there. But yeah, I am doing a pick for the Bears on Friday. I have a couple of picks. I'm not sure which one is going to be mine, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I am going into the belly of the beasts, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Don't worry, Bears fans. I have my navy and my orange ready to go. And if they give me any guff, I will give it right back. I promise. So I'll do you proud. I'm excited. I'm honored. Not a lot of guys get the opportunity to do this. I'm honored to be able to make a pick for the team. And I'm excited to see who we take in the second round. So yeah, it's a very cool thing. Going to Green Bay for 2 days, less cool, but we'll make it work.
Are you staying in somebody's house? Like, where were they? Do they even have the hotel space in Green Bay? How does this even work? I don't even.
Nah, they got an executive suite lined up for me. I'm good to go.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, it's cool too, man. Like, I believe it's a huge honor to do this kind of stuff. Oh wait, hold on. We got a special request. Daniel Orton. I'm a Packers fan, but I love Seth's take on sports. He has a passion on football. Too bad you're on the other side. Well, not to us. But much love to you, Seth Rollins, and much love to you, Daniel Orton, for getting in on that. See, like this is the cool thing too. It's like you can still appreciate the fact that we're on opposite sides on this one. But it's cool too because like when you think of all the great celebrity, like if you're a celebrity fan for the Bears, like you gotta go against it, but like you gotta go against Vince Vaughn and Jeff Garland, the dude from Hot Ones. Like you get your chance. They won't let me anywhere near Green Bay, but you're putting it up there. And are you planning something special? What is your mindset of this? Because obviously, listen, you're obviously not afraid of big crowds, but this is something completely different. We saw on Sunday, like some celebrities at WrestleMania were getting booed, and I don't think they were accustomed to it. You obviously are used to it. What do you anticipate from the Green Bay crowd?
I expect them to boo me. I expect it. And if they don't, I'm going to be disappointed in them. I will wag my finger just like this. I will wag my finger at them. I will shame them for not booing me relentlessly. I'm telling you, if a Packers fan walked into my world, into Chicago, into the draft, and they weren't booed mercilessly, there would be, I'd lose respect for you. You know, I'd lose respect for you. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting boos. I want them to come. If they don't come, I'm going to stomp all over you. I'm going to eat you alive. You better fight back. Otherwise we're going to be in for one. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, to the opportunity. You got to be prepared for everything. Now, if they just go crazy, they sing my song, I'm going to let them sing. I'm going to let them do whatever they want. But yeah, I fully expect some animosity, and I am prepared for it. I can't spoil my surprise. I can't spoil what I got going on.
No, don't.
I'm always prepared, man. I'm a professional.
Obviously.
I know what I'm doing out there.
Obviously, I will. A quick thing when the draft was in Chicago, I don't know if you ever noticed a difference in the tenor of the commissioner, but I actually told him backstage in Chicago, and this is the first time it's happened. I said, "Hey, I go, you got to stop stepping on your boos." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Let him boo you. Like, let it play out. Let it soak up the energy and then go. Like, this is a great moment. You're on TV. Go out there and soak it up." And I will tell, and I don't need to tell you, but I do want to tell you because, again, you're going into a different world. Like when we were on our thing on GMFB, they told me like, "Hey, you get 45 seconds." And I'm like, "Okay." And I went out there and I did my thing for 2 minutes. Don't let the person sitting there at the stage be like, "Seth, you got 45 seconds. You take all the time you need. I'm giving you the permission. You can ask." Like I had to go into a meeting and be like, "You know what? I probably shouldn't have done that. You're right." And then I went home and had a great day. Take all the time you need and have a lot of fun with it. I don't want you. Don't let the lady. There's a nice lady that'll be there. She's going to try to don't let her curb your time. Go out there and enjoy this. And speaking of which, I do want to, and I know you're very busy and you got to go. I do want to thank you so much for coming onto the show. I was hopeful. I sent an email to the WWE brass. I'm like, I think Seth will come on. Listen, anytime you want to come on and talk Bears, like this is when you're on this show, no mark questions, just Bears football. So anytime you want to come on, you have an open invitation. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you representing the Chicago Bears. Thank you so much for everything you do and all the entertainment as well. Like you're the best. Thank you so much for doing this.
Cheers, Rank. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. I'll do you proud in Green Bay tomorrow.
All right, go out there and burn it down. So for Seth, I'm Adam. Bear down. And Sammy, why don't you go ahead and play us out?
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.